Well, we're back on the Ford Fusion for part 2. It's a week later, so for a week the car was perfectly fine. Then the customer said that the cluster started going dark again. The car still starts and runs, so not a no crank like last time. What's the issue? The shop here says it's sending some communication codes. They're like, we don't want to deal with it. Come back and diagnose this thing. See what else is going on. So last time we found a disconnected connector, the C214, I think by the left kick panel, that powered up the PAT's, anti-theft antenna. And now they said that you start it up, it runs for 2 minutes, and then the cluster starts going out. Like dark or black. So, last time we took the cluster out and looked at the connector, we couldn't really see the solder joints. I thought it was pretty solid, but perhaps there is a cracked solder joint just like we saw in the Ford Escape a while back. But let's scan everything for codes, see what's online, see what's offline, try to get this thing to act up. And, everything's online right now. Everything's good. Let's see what codes are stored. It just rolled over 100,000 miles. Perfect timing, right? Let's see, open that up. Missing communication with the instrument panel cluster control module. Okay? Lost communication with instrument panel. Miscommunication with instrument panel. Lost communication with instrument panel. Lost communication with instrument panel. Then IPC says missing communication with BCM. Missing communication with HVAC. Missing communication with instrument panel. Invalid data received from ABS. Okay, so we have a problem with the instrument panel, it looks like. I'm going to clear all the DTCs. We're going to try to get this car to act up. Okay, start it up. They said in 2 minutes it should start acting up. So while we're waiting for this thing to act up, I got some data pulled up in the instrument cluster. We got fuel level, ignition switch, temperature gauge, and ignition voltage. See if the data drops out, if it loses communication. If it acts up, maybe we can do a light tap on the cluster. But it seems like a circuit problem. When something heats up, it'll start wigging out. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Tire pressure monitor fault. Boom. Awesome, it's acting up. I love it. We still have live data. It's going nuts. It's going absolutely nuts. This is fun. Okay. What do we want to check? Should we tap on the dash? Came back to life. Perfect, right? So we had those glitches. So if a tap on the dash fixes it temporarily, we're dealing with a cracked solder joint. I am 100% sure of it. I'm going to wait for it to act up again consistently. We'll do another tap, tap, tap. If it fixes it, we're tearing this cluster apart all the way and reflowing some solder joints. Like I guess I should have done last time, but This is the initial customer complaint. Now, how did that connector get unplugged? is someone not telling the whole story, or the shop here, they said it blows their mind. They've never been in that kick panel, and I trust them. So maybe someone else was digging in there. Who knows? But we saw the failure right there. So I just did a full health report again, and sure enough, we are full of codes again. Yep, lost comm with instrument panel cluster. So if the car was fine for a week after I took the cluster out and put it back in, that also points to something was stressed, tweaked, and made connection for about a week, and then it would, just slight vibrations, heat cycles, it lost that connection again. So I'm gonna hope this acts up again one more time, and yeah, we'll take this cluster back out. All right, here we go again. It's blank. It's definitely dark. It's coming back. So it's acting up consistently right now. I'm going to give it a few seconds. So let's tap it. Beautiful. Reproducible. Let's reflow some solder joints. Alright, so I got some plastic off of the cluster. You want to make sure the needles are all the way in their home position, and take a picture of this with your phone before you take the needles off. We need to do that to separate the circuit board from the face here. Alright, so for the needles you want to be very careful. Put a little paper towel down, get a claw under there, and just help it off with your hand. Careful. We'll do the same for these two right here. Make sure you keep them in the home position. Let me do this off camera so I have a little more room. Alright, well, it's going to be really hard to see, but it looks like these pins, so the connector's right here, and there is some slight cracking of the joint around the pin. So I'm going to reflow all the connector pins. That's the only thing I'm going to touch. Put this thing back together and see if everything works appropriately. Or I might have to wait another 2 weeks to make sure this is good, because it's a very intermittent problem until that joint, gets to that bad state. So I took the zoomed in view of that, and you can see these pins right here, those are the communication pins, and these are nice and shiny, and then these look really crappy and crusty. So all we need for this repair is the TS100 soldering iron, some high quality flux core solder. Let's reflow these pins. Alright, here we go. Let's tin our soldering iron. And we'll just go one by one. I feel like Northridge Fix here. I know, I should use flux. Alright, well, let's do the second row. And that's it. Cluster's reinstalled, everything's happy, everything's green. So I'm pretty confident that this will fix the car long term. Should we have reflowed the joints last time when we were here? And this is kind of, I suspect that it's a common problem. Apparently it is. Probably, but there are two separate problems. Unplugged connector and bad solder joints on the cluster. So I'll probably just charge the shop, the standard 1 hour rate, and hopefully they'll have some more cars for us lined up next time. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.